This is G-Free Radio. Here's your host, Peter Stewart.
Hello and welcome to the first of several special editions of the G-Free Radio Show over Christmas and New Year. This week we're going to be spending some time indulging. Well, it is the holiday season after all. On the way, 6 interviews with some of the best bakers and cooks and chocolatiers that you'll find in all of the land. I've been speaking to them over the last few months, and some of their stories and some of their products are fantastic. What they're doing in their kitchens and what you can find in your local supermarkets and fairs and farmers markets or online via their websites or others is absolutely incredible. I've had the privilege of seeing all of these products, of tasting most of them, and they really are up there among the best. So sit back, indulge yourself over the next few minutes as we hear from some fantastic companies across the UK who are producing some superb gluten-free food. Up first in our special Christmas edition, we talk about one of the big success stories in the G-Free world over the last 18 months, 2 years or so. It's been Podology. Great product, great name and design, and a great business brain behind it all as well. After just a few months, Lucy got her range of high-quality desserts made without dairy, gluten or eggs into the upmarket Waitrose stores. And I've come to see Lucy, and you are Mrs. or Miss Podology, aren't you?
Yes, I am Miss Podology.
This is your brainchild. You've only been going, what, a year?
Yeah, just over a year, and we started trading last August. So last year's show we launched the brand, not really knowing what the response was going to be. So it was a really nerve-wracking couple of weeks on the run-up to the show, and we were inundated with people saying, "Where can we get it? We haven't seen this before. It's a great brand. Oh my God, it's dairy-free." So we thought we'd come back again this year after we've had some really good launches in the past 9 months. So we're now available in Ocado, 21 Waitrose stores. We sell through a couple of wholesalers, and we also stocked by Selfridges and Fortnum & Mason. So it's been a really busy year.
Well, I'll just pause there for a moment because you're saying words like Waitrose and Fortnum & Masons in the last 12 months.
Yeah.
What a journey that's been for you.
Yeah, it's been incredible. When we sort of were travelling up here last night, we were saying, how much we've done in the last year, and it feels like we've been going for 10 years because we're just so busy and we've done so much. And it's been great. We're really lucky because we've got some really strong consumer supporters who are, really keen to buy the products. And one of our biggest challenges being in Waitrose, we're in 21 stores, and it's sort of getting the awareness up and letting people know that we're there and we're on the shelves, because I'm dairy-free and I know I don't even bother going down the dessert aisle because there's nothing for me, but now there is. You can get Podology, which is dairy-free, gluten-free, egg-free, suitable for vegans, in your dessert chiller in Waitrose. So, we just want to get that out there and make sure that people know that.
But you said word of mouth. Now, it's also said that people were already asking about it last year as you were launching.
Yeah.
So how did you get that word of mouth out before the launch?
Well, I think, being at the allergy show was a big thing. And I also sort of realised the power of social media, and I try and do as much as I can on Twitter and Facebook, but I do less and less of that because I'm so busy making the desserts and sort of running around, because there's only 5 of us in the company. But that is really important to us, and tweeting pictures and just telling people what we're doing is how we do it. And then I rely on journalists and magazines picking up the products and thinking, "Oh, this looks great." We've had a couple of people, bloggers, come around today, and a journalist who's a member of the Food Guild Writers Association. She's going to write a review. So it's just relying on things like that, because obviously we don't have a huge marketing budget and PR budget to be able to sort of go after lots of different things. So that's how we get the word out, really.
And great design. It's got to be eye-catching on the shelf as well.
Yeah.
Look contemporary.
Yeah, absolutely. That was really important. When I first started, I spent about 4 months with the designer Mark that I work with, coming up with the branding and getting that right, because I had the recipes, so I could have just started selling pots with labels on. but I wanted the branding to be as I wanted it and really eye-catching, and I wanted it to appeal to everybody. So just because you're dairy-free, you shouldn't just have to be able to buy, pharmaceutical-looking products that just don't look very good. So I wanted it to be eye-catching, and I wanted it to be there for everybody.
And tell me about the name. Who came up with that? Was that you?
Well, that was actually my dad. He came up with it because we'd been brainstorming as a family, what could we call it, what names could we come up with, and nothing was sort of sticking. And it was near Christmas time in 2011, and he was in Selfridges in the Rapology section where they do your wrapping, and he texted me saying, what about Chocology? And I said, not everything's going to be chocolate. And he said, okay, then what about Pudology? And I quite liked it, and I sort of sat with it in my mind for a few days and thought, yeah, I like it, this
that
could
works,
work.
Yeah.
And, we get a lot of people saying, oh, what a great name, how did you come up with that? And it's just got a nice ring to it, I think. So.
Now, I'm a bit concerned because they're puddings, but they're no gluten, no dairy, no wheat, no eggs.
Yeah.
They're not puddings then, are they?
Well, they are, because we use coconut milk, which is just such a lovely ingredient, and it's got natural sweetness, it's naturally creamy, it sets when it's colder, so you get a really lovely dessert that's got a great mouthfeel. It's indulgent without having the dairy, and I love it when I'm sampling and people are sort of looking at me sort of sceptically, and then they try it and they're really taken aback and really enjoy it.
So it's got to be a good look. Is what attracts people originally, isn't it? But then the flavour and the texture as well. People often, I guess, forget about the texture bit of that combination.
Yeah, I think that's really important. And because our desserts are also vegan, we don't use any gelatin or anything to set the more fruitier desserts. So that was a real challenge that we had to come across. But I worked with a really good company who specialise on vegan setting agents. So that allowed us to do some really nice fruit flavours as well, like the lemon and the strawberry. So it works really well.
And who is Podology? You say you've got 5 people working with you. Yeah. So whereabouts are you? How big are you as a base?
Well, we're very small. We produce everything ourselves up in Cheshire. There's me, there's my mum and dad. I have someone that works for me part-time, and I've just taken on an apprentice who works full-time. So it's a really small, close-knit team, but we all work really well together.
And what about the factory? How do you're not hand-making these, are you?
Yeah,
or are you
we do. Kind of... Yeah, we do hand-make everything. We've got a small kitchen unit up in Cheshire, and that's where we produce everything. So we do one day a week, we bake the biscuit base, and then the other days we're actually producing the desserts.
And then how are you selling? How are you getting into the marketplace? How are you testing those flavours? Is it local food fairs and things like that, as well as shows like this?
Yeah, we do quite a lot of vegan shows as well, and that's been really successful for us. And we've got a lot of strong customer followings from vegans. And we sell through Ocado, and that's been great because that kind of links in with the social media that we do. And we're in 21 Waitrose stores, and we've been going around a lot of them doing in-store sampling as well, which has been incredible because people sort of stop and go, oh, did you say dairy-free? Did you say gluten-free? So it's like catching those customers that just aren't aware at the moment that Waitrose is stocking Podology. We try and do as many fairs as possible because it's great exposure.
So where is it in stores? Are you in the the yogurt aisle, or are you?
Yeah, we're in the chilled desserts aisle, which is next to yogurts. So it's in the chiller section where you can find goo and Alpro yogurts and that kind of thing. So that's why it's quite tricky because obviously all the other free-from products are in the free-from aisle, but that's not chilled.
Yeah, absolutely.
And there's not a lot available at the moment in the free-from chilled section. There's obviously Alpro soya yogurts and that kind of thing, but
that's
section,
quite different, isn't it?
Yeah, there isn't anything. So it's about getting that customer awareness up of where we are and where you can buy us from. So the next step is Sainsbury's, 30 stores, and there'll probably be a new flavour launching with them as well.
Do you ever take a break?
No.
I'm just looking at a young girl here who's just tasting one of your desserts. Just looking for a bit of a reaction there. Well, she's taking a second mouthful, so that's good, isn't it? Is she liking it? Yeah, she's a smile and a nod and a thumbs up. That's good, Lucy. Thanks so much.
Thank you very much.
This is G-Free Radio.
Catherine is the entrepreneur behind Sweet Cheeks, and in a moment we're going to hear about her range of natural gluten-free products which are really fun, exciting, different, eye-catching, dramatic. Catherine says that's what sets her apart from the other brands. The flavours, Boy, oh boy, cardamom, Baileys, mojito, chocolate and rum, poached pear, pumpkin pie and gingerbread.
Yeah, it's a very rustic feel to the entire company. So from how we display things with the grassy background, the wooden cabinets, the flowers all over our stand, teapots and baskets hanging everywhere, really feeds through to that kind of rustic feel that goes with the food. So meaning that we put only very natural and non-artificial products into all of our food, keeping it as basic and kind of, again, natural as we can do.
But also a fun and dramatic look to the cakes as well. I'm looking at the glitter and also some of those Lego bricks on there.
Yeah, edible Lego and edible glitter. And I think the world is made better with things like that. It's very fun, and it actually sets us apart from a lot of other companies who kind of go down a very kind of posh, high-end look to their things. And I think sometimes that can be quite off-putting, especially for children who are just, or parents who are just getting into this gluten-free thing. It needs to be inviting, and it needs to be a brand that you can love in terms of what it stands for. So I'm hoping that's what we bring across.
And some of the flavours I've been looking at as well. You know what? I made a cardamom and pecan cake the other week, and it was lovely.
That sounds amazing.
And I'm really interested to see that you've got cardamom and white chocolate in your recipe, in your range.
Yeah, I'm extremely inspired by Persian cooking. I do a lot of Persian cooking at home. And I love flavours and kind of perfumed flavours as well. So I do a lot with
that isn't it? Cardamom. I've only just kind of recently discovered that,
It's incredible. I could eat cardamom just on its own. It's amazing, especially rice pudding. It's awesome.
Really?
Yeah.
I've not tried that.
Rice pudding is amazing.
Maybe you should get into that range.
Yeah,
the rice pudding range.
I've got a lot of things that I want to get into. Just need the brain power to get me there.
Okay, let's read another couple of the flavours. We've got mojito, lemon and pistachio, maple and pecan, and Baileys and chocolate, which I think I tweeted about earlier on. That is good.
I think anything with alcohol in is always great. So the Baileys, the mojito, we do one at Christmas time, which is chocolate and rum. And then we also do the Christmas pudding flavour, which obviously has alcohol in as well. I think it's great. It also means that any fruits that you put into it are kind of plumped up and keep their moisture and feed through. The alcohol does burn off during cooking, so it is safe for children to eat. But
it still keeps the flavour in there.
It still keeps the flavour, but you don't have that kind of crazy burn at the back of your throat.
And it's interesting that you're doing those Christmas specials, cranberry and orange, poached pear, pumpkin pie and gingerbread. So you're doing the kind of sub-brands during the course of the year as well.
We do, and we did a competition 2 years ago, I think it was. So it was in January of 2000, and what are we in now? 2011. And I did a competition and said, which one would you like us to keep from our Christmas range, and we'll do it all year round. And that was actually the Black Forest Gatto that we've got on sale today. It's one of our most popular flavours, and that still continues through. So people do like the Christmas ones and continue having them all year round.
Now, I've been looking around most of the stalls during the course of today, and also spoken to another couple of people as well, and you do see some of these same flavours or the same kinds of breads or cakes come round and round again. You reckon that you're the first person in the UK to be developing what cake at the moment?
At the moment it is our gluten-free, wheat-free, dairy-free, egg-free, saturated fat-free.
I feel as though there should be a drum roll coming on here.
Donuts.
Wow.
So they are baked, not fried. They contain 15% fruit in them as well. They're really healthy, really scrummy and light and fresh and moist.
Now, there was a big supermarket name that tried donuts before. Those were the jam-filled ones, which didn't work. They withdrew them. Yeah. Yours are the ring donuts.
Yes, and we also do the jam donuts as well, but they're not jam-filled donuts, but they're jam ring donuts. My next challenge, I guess, will be custard-filled. I'm on it, it's no problem. But at the moment, as far as I can see, doing what we do in the way that we do, we are the first people to do those donuts. And it's amazing, and they're the ones that kind of go straight off. I think we just sold out of the last ones, so they're gone. Tomorrow, come back for more.
Catherine, tell me about your journey, because I understand, and you may not want me to remind you about this, but you had a rather unfortunate experience on your 21st birthday.
I was miserable. I can't even remember what I had. My parents had a profiterole cake at my 21st birthday party, I had pomegranate and pineapple slices at my 21st birthday. There was no one doing cakes, or at least not that I was aware of, that were gluten-free, as I had just been recently diagnosed. So I kind of had a candle in a pumpkin slice, pineapple slice on my birthday. It was quite devastating.
So when were you diagnosed?
I was diagnosed a few months before that. I've never been officially diagnosed, but what I had was a lot of panic attacks and a lot of problems stemming from panic attacks. And I went to go and get thousands of tests done to see what was wrong with me. And I went to see someone who is a psychophysiologist. Oh. And don't know yet how kind of sane it was, or she was, but one of the things she noticed was that there was a lot of nutrients building up in my gut, and obviously malabsorption is one of the symptoms of being a celiac. So she suggested that I cut out gluten, see if it made me feel better. And I remember that day, before my appointment, me and my mother had got some croissants in, I think we'd gone to the Petit Maison or something. And as we walked out, I went to have a bite of my croissant and my mother went, no, start as you mean to go on. I was so upset. So since then, I haven't had a croissant until Genius brought out their range. And from that moment on, I stopped eating gluten, and my life went worse and miserable. But then as I started to get more into the whole arena of gluten-free and get to know more of the bloggers, the companies and people within this community, that's when I really started to see the amazing things that this whole community does.
And you've obviously got boundless energy. You were telling me before that because of your whole philosophy and your ethos with your brand, you've now got a job with Innocent Smoothies, which fits in with all of that. So that's your day job. You're doing this as well, which I think is absolutely fantastic. How many of you working in?
One.
It is just you?
Yeah, it's just me. I mean, I have helpers to help sell either my markets or at trade shows. If I'm ever in a real pickle, I can call on my mum, but she doesn't have the finesse that I need for my products. So it is just me. I'm, I think, probably a control freak, so I like to know that I'm doing it and I know it's done properly.
Well, I'm hugely impressed. I really am. I'm stunned. You know, if you want a partner to come into business with you, I think seriously, out of all the ones here today, you've just got the raw kind of passion and excitement and interest, and you've got a huge smile on your face while you do it. But you are obviously totally exhausted as well at the same time, but enjoying every minute. Yeah.
I can sleep. This week I'm going to Germany for work, so I can sleep on the plane for like 2 hours, and that's fine.
Yeah, you sleep when you're dead, is that what they say?
I'll do a Maggie Thatcher and just have 3 hours a night.
What flowers do you use then to develop? Are you using one of the flowers, the flower mixes that you get from the supermarket? Are you developing your own mix? How does that work?
I normally look at what mixes are out there. Sometimes I use them depending on the product, but each of my products has a different mix to it. So, for example, for the more chocolatey flavoured ones, or for cupcakes, for example, I will use a lot of gram flour because it's really nice and spicy. It holds the cocoa really well. But for some of the lighter flavours, like the vanilla, if I want some subtle flavours to come through, or the rose petal flavour, I'll use a rice flour and buckwheat, something that doesn't have so much taste to it that it overpowers the main flavours.
There's a lot of thought, kind of technology that goes into that.
That's what it is. It's very much, I approach this from kind of a scientific point of view, whereas knowing that if I took out the eggs, what could I put in that would mimic not only the consistency but also the properties once it's cooked? So that's my secret. I'm not going to tell that one, but that's kind of how I go about developing my products. I'll look at a recipe and think how I can tailor that to recreate the consistency and the taste.
And where are you selling these fantastic cakes?
So I'm selling them here at the Allergy Show, also selling them when people place orders online, and I do taster events at my house. So I make loads of sometimes new products that I want feedback on, and people will pay kind of a lump sum. Some of that goes to charity as well, and they come and they can just eat and buy as much cake as they want.
And you go into food fairs and places like that?
Yeah, food fairs, trade shows. We do a lot of the vegan trade shows as well, but this is our biggest event of the year, completely.
And what is the reaction? I mean, it's a bit quiet here at the moment, has to be said, because we're lunchtime, and I think we've got that kind of mid-afternoon or early afternoon lull. People have gone off to the cafe and the restaurant, and perhaps because it's a Friday, we're going to have more people coming, leaving work early, perhaps. So it's a little quiet at the moment. What's the reaction when people come to your stall and see what you've got on offer?
It's changed over the last 5 years since I've been doing the company. So at first, people were the same as I was, just in disbelief that this existed. Now people are getting a lot more used to seeing gluten-free products and the amazing things that you can now do with gluten-free products. So it's now the donuts that get that disbelief, but also now it's real happiness and respect at how it's displayed. So how we put a lot of effort into the visual aspects of our food, as opposed to some people will just kind of put it there, that's a good enough option, don't need to tart it up or anything. But I like to tart things up. I think there's a whole experience with eating food that shouldn't be missed just because you're gluten-free. It should be, you should see it and love it, and smell it and love it, taste it, and the texture should be good as well.
And the visual as well. Yeah. I mean, looking at some of these cupcakes, these are the kind of things that I would expect to see if you are perhaps going to give someone a couple of cupcakes for a birthday present or a thank you, or take to an office event or something like that, a box of 4 cupcakes, which look absolutely terrific. Yeah. Even to eat if people aren't gluten-free, so the gluten-free person doesn't miss out or feel special.
Yeah, that's what that's what a lot of people do. A lot of people are buying them for weddings. They can't taste the difference. There's no financial difference between buying this version. It's better for you. So actually, a lot of our customers aren't gluten-free at all or vegan. They just prefer the taste of it and the fact that it's so wholesome. So actually, a lot of our customer base isn't dietary in a specific dietary need, so it's quite good, I think.
Catherine from Sweet Cheeks, and I'll give you all of the contact details again at the end of the programme. From Catherine to Carolyn from the Free From Bakehouse. She's got some really great muffins and cakes. There's her fruit cake made with wine. There's the Bramley apple and almond cake as well. And she makes her range in small batches. She's very particular about that and is a great supporter of seasonal and locally produced food.
We've got 2 types of tartlets here. One is a pastry made with parsnip, and also it's got salted caramel and chocolate caramel ganache. The other is a sweet sugar crust pastry, gluten-free, with a homemade lemon curd and meringue. These are savoury muffins, which are gluten-free, obviously. They're parmesan, mozzarella and spinach. And we've got the award-winning jalapeno and sweet corn muffins, which are also dairy-free, at the bottom.
And it really makes a difference to see some savoury muffins for a change. That is really good.
Yes, I was delighted to have been commended by the Free From Food Awards for that, and I actually think there is definitely a gap in the market for more savoury products, but that there's also still a gap for good quality sweet things as well, of course.
Okay, now you pride yourself in the fact that your cakes and savouries are handcrafted in small batches, don't you? Yes. You're not a big manufacturer with mass production.
No, I'm afraid we're not. We've got a whole range. We've got like sugar and sugar-free, wheat-free, dairy-free, soya-free, yeast-free, flapjacks. We don't use any yeast in our kitchen. We also have sugar-free chocolate digestives as well. And we've also got a range of lots of dairy-free products too.
And you know what? I'm standing here and I'm trying to work out where the lovely sweet smell is coming from. I'm trying to work out what that is. Is it? I think it might be the Bramley apple and almond. It smells a little bit appley. That's something I can smell, which is fantastic. You're also concentrating on seasonal foods, aren't you? And locally produced eggs.
Yes, I do. I use eggs from Trefleck Farm. I also have been, I like to use beetroot brownies, make beetroot brownies in the winter. I do make a courgette loaf as well, which I have in the summertime. And I do use parsnip as well throughout the year. I've got an unusual cake, which is very popular, which is parsnip pear and sea salted caramel. So, I describe it as a white carrot cake, really. You can't really taste the carrots, you can't take the parsnip.
It really makes a difference to see and smell some different products here, Caroline, as well. And you also do a lot of special foods for Christmas, don't you?
Yeah, I do actually do a stollen, and I haven't actually tackled mince pies actually for a while, but I do mince pies and cupcakes. I make a Christmas cake, a stollen, and also a Yule log.
And how do you develop your recipes? Are you coming up with the ideas yourself and making those recipes from scratch, or are you adapting other recipes that you've come across? How does that work?
It's a mixture of all of those, actually, Peter. I sometimes see products and I think, I wonder what they'd be like as a gluten-free. Could I actually change that into a gluten-free product? And that's, could be a standard thing. That's how I really started thinking, oh, I can change this, I can make it into a gluten-free. And it wasn't that easy after all, I had a lot of practice. But now I do know a lot more about the various type of grains you can use, and also help by using things like Bacillus husk, xanthan gum, also flaxseed. It all helps with the consistency of baking as well, and it's really important to really experiment and use a range of different grains. There's a lot more around than there were a few years ago. You've now got unusual grains like quinoa, teff, sorghum as well. Sorghum is still a little bit difficult to get here, but if you experiment and have a blend of different grains, it really helps towards achieving a good quality bake. I'm really delighted to be part of Whole Foods, which has got a big presence here in London, and also other health food shops around London and specialist delis. And I also supply, interestingly, a lovely deli and cafe up in Aberdeen. And so it's nice that my goods are reaching people in Scotland.
Absolutely, and you're not forgetting the fairs, the fetes, the festivals, places like that as well.
I do. I'm doing Abergavenny in Wales. I love Abergavenny, and it's really a really good welcome down there as well. I also do festivals like Secret Garden Party. I see it as a bit of a party for myself as well. And I do a lot of the festivals in London, like the Chocolate Festival and the Cheese and Wine Festival, where I make products that may have wine in them, like a fruit cake with the wine, or obviously cheese, savoury products as well. I will expand my savoury range for that particular festival.
We've got a couple of cupcake makers in this week's programme. First of all, Sue from Emerald City Cupcakes. It's a great name. If you want to know why they came up with that name, give it a couple of minutes and you'll soon know. They're based in Warrington in England, and as well as her favourites and the public's favourite Cookie Monster cakes, they look fantastic. She also makes gluten-free Christmas cakes as well, and says they're going down that road because there's been an increasing demand for GF food.
And we produce bespoke and unique cupcakes and large cakes for different events and occasions. We do gluten and dairy-free cupcakes. We try and do different ranges, so we've got Cookie Monster, we've got plain chocolate and caramel, vanilla and strawberry, lemon, and also the red velvet cupcake. And then we do your dairy-free cupcakes as well, which are in vanilla and chocolate. And we also do gluten and wheat-free Christmas cakes.
And people are eating with their eyes, aren't they, I hope?
Yes, definitely. Always the Cookie Monster's a favourite. I think the eyes attract them in. It's always a favourite one that pulls people in.
So tell me about the business. I've not heard of you before, so I guess you're a small gluten-free business. How long have you been going?
Yeah, we are small, and we've been doing about 2 years. We're doing different markets in Manchester. And we got a lot of people asking for gluten-free, so we tried it out and tested them from there. So we do them at the markets in Manchester as we can. Obviously it's getting more and more popular, so we enjoy doing these markets and events for that reason, to talk to people with the allergies. Started just doing dairy-free. We're looking into egg-free and sugar-free. We just need to experiment a little bit more with those, and then we'll be glad to kind of produce them a lot more for the events and markets. But yeah, we're at Chester and Manchester for Christmas markets. So hope we're going to do a big range on there. Obviously the Christmas cakes in different themes and Christmassy, and obviously comic ones as well from there.
Okay, and why the name Emerald City? Obviously it has links, doesn't it, with the Wizard of Oz?
That's it, yeah. We were trying to think of a name, trying to think of ones that were like cake related. They'd all gone, or kind of quirky ones, so we decided what else do we enjoy doing, and it was going to the theatre, and Wicked was one of our favourite musicals. We're trying to think of things from there, and then came up with Emerald City, so we thought it kind of had a little bit of a nice ring to it. So a few people think we're Irish and it's come from the Emerald Isles in that way, but no, it's truly from Wicked that we've got the name. We also do the jewellery to match in, so we've got some ruby slipper ones, the witch's hat, and then we do different kind of theme based on what cakes we do as well from there.
And looking at your decorated Christmas cakes and so on down here, I reckon you're a fan of British Bake-Off, aren't you?
Oh yes, yeah. I would love, if it was just a cake-related competition, I'd love to do it. It's all the bread and everything else that I think I'd struggle with.
But these are fantastically decorated.
Thank you. Yes, I enjoy the arty side of things and trying to make them as pretty as we can. So I enjoy. We do quite a few of the comic ones, so we enjoy doing on there, just to do a little bit different really, so they stand out rather than just your traditional Christmas theme ones. So.
And when you say we, who is we?
Me and my friend Charlotte, we do it together. She still works full time, I do this as my full time job at the moment, so we enjoy doing it together. She's more into the flavours and working on things there, and I enjoy doing the more creative and arty things, so we work really well together because I can do all the bits on top and enjoy the creative side of things.
And what's the reaction when you go to the various markets and so on, and people see the sign that says gluten-free behind a stall selling these fantastic cupcakes?
It's really nice to see. Everyone's so excited they can finally eat a cake, and yeah, they all get a little bit excited that we do the themes, and obviously all the toppers are gluten and wheat-free. We try and match them to look exactly like our normal cupcakes in that way, and yeah, it's just really nice to get the reaction that people haven't had a cake for so long, and we've had really good feedback, people coming back, obviously saying that they do taste really nice. I've done taste tests with my parents for normal and gluten-free, and they can't taste the difference, which is amazing. And yeah, it's just nice to make someone's day that's not had a cake for 10 years and then can finally eat a cake, so it's really nice.
And tell us again where people can find you.
We're online, it's www.emeraldcitycupcakes.co.uk. We're on Facebook and on Twitter, and it's Emerald City Cupsy, and you can find us on there.
Sue from Emerald City Cupcakes, and as I said a few moments ago, don't worry if you've missed any of the contact details. I'll give them all to you at the end of the programme. Now let's introduce Steve. He's a chocolatier with Conscious Chocolate, 11 different flavours of raw chocolate, one of which is, get this, 90% cocoa. Boy, oh boy. They're the first handmade, raw, organic chocolate bar company in the UK, free from pesticides, dairy, soya and gluten. They've got a fantastic Christmas chocolate bar and another one for February the 14th as well.
We've just won the Great Taste Award for our plain bar, which is the basis of all the other recipes. And from the plain it goes on to sort of mint and an orange, and then we do nutty and cherry and a wild at heart, which has got lots of maca and vanilla in. And we do a couple of really high cocoa chocolates, which take it up to 85 or 90% cocoa.
And these are very often the ones that you see recommended that you should be using in cooking, aren't they? You know, in chocolate muffins or whatever, chocolate cakes. They often say have a really high cocoa content.
Yeah, well, because our chocolate's raw, we wouldn't recommend it in cooking because then it wouldn't be raw.
Ah, right.
But, as it is raw, it maintains the nutritional qualities of the cocoa beans. You get all the mood enhancers, you get all the hormone balancing effects of all the ingredients. And when the company started about 7 years ago, it was the original, the first raw chocolate bar in the UK, and we've still never compromised on the quality of ingredients. My job is actually to make the chocolate, so it's a great life.
So you're a chocolatier, is that the right word?
Apparently, yes.
Yeah.
Apparently.
Gosh. So where did you pick up those skills?
Well, the founder Emma, it was her company, and she taught me everything I know, and she's at home doing another show, and I'm up here doing this one in Liverpool, and to spend time with my family as well, which is nice.
Oh, that's good, because it's a bit of a problem, isn't it, buying gluten-free chocolates. There are some varieties from the well-known makes that they say they're okay, but you can never be entirely sure. But obviously, if yours is in a completely wheat or gluten-free factory, totally, that's guaranteed.
Yes, yeah, totally. I mean, I don't even bring like milk into work. If I'm making cups of tea, we always have like rice milk and things. And because I make the chocolate, I sort of know at each recipe I always know how it's made and what goes into it. And I find that having that sort of that depth of knowledge from actually being involved with making it, then it helps definitely with communicating with the people about their requests and things like that.
What's your favourite flavour here?
My favourite flavour, I like with the cherry Christmas we do, which has got golden cherries and sweet cherries, and we also do the mint is very popular, and but a lot of the ladies go for the love potion number 9.
The love potion?
Potion number 9, essential oil of rose.
Oh, right, okay.
And, very good for those like quiet nights to relax.
So you're expecting a bit of a boost around February time, are you, for that one?
So,
okay.
Yes.
Steve, how can people buy your products? How can they get in touch with you?
Well, we're distributed with health food shops around the UK, and if people refer to our website, then there's a whole list of suppliers around the UK in various regions, and they can also buy things direct from the website, from 1 bar up to boxes, however many they want.
And your website is?
The website's www.consciouschocolate.co.uk.
And finally, in our special Christmas edition of the G3 radio show, let me introduce to you Martin. He's from Adoro Streets. It's a boutique cupcake company specialising in high-quality traditional gluten and lactose-free cupcakes. They make some of their range with champagne, other items with Madagascan vanilla or real Belgian chocolate. A couple of months ago, as I say, I caught up with Martin from Adoro Streets.
We're Adoris. We're a gluten-free cupcake and macaron baking business.
So, Martin, let's come around the front. You tell me what we've got here. Well, the first word that jumps out at me is champagne. Champagne in a cupcake. That sounds fantastic.
It's
very
quite
decadent.
Very decadent, like you say. This one in particular has we take out the centre and we put a champagne and raspberry flavoured white Belgian chocolate ganache in the middle. So it gives you that really nice sort of creamy texture. A lot of the cakes that you see have something a little bit different, so they're kind of based modern twists on old designs like the lemon meringue, and the blueberry all have their sort of centre. And the macarons at the top here, you see all these bright different colours. There's over 12 different flavours and they're all naturally gluten-free.
Excellent. Okay, so why did you develop this particular gluten-free range? Is anyone amongst you a celiac, or you just saw a gap in the market, or what? How did that work?
No, I eat less gluten. I'm fortunate enough not to be celiac, so I can eat gluten, but it doesn't agree with me. And we started to see that a lot of people were asking for gluten-free. When we went out, the selection was really poor, and when we tried cake, we really found that the quality wasn't there. So we put a lot of effort into working with the ingredients to make sure the cake quality is up to and as good as a traditional cake.
So you the baker yourself?
Yeah, we're the baker. We're the coordinators. We do everything ourselves.
Who is we?
Me and my partner Sarah.
Okay, and I'm guessing that as well as looking good, they're obviously tasting good. What is the reason behind that? Presumably you're sourcing some really good products to put in, are you?
Yeah, well exactly. Our real focus is on the flavour first. I mean, the design comes afterwards.
Although the other way round from a customer, because you eat with your eyes, don't you? You've got to be attracted to something first of all.
Well, yeah, it's a display that attracts people to it, and funnily enough, some of the more bright, vibrant colours attract people to the stand. But the quality of flavour brings people back again and again. That's what we like. We use pure Belgian chocolate in all our chocolate flavours, and we really go that extra mile to make sure the taste is there first, and then the design.
Okay, and what about the vanilla? You're using proper vanilla.
Yeah, so we use
vanilla, not the flavouring.
Well, we use Madagascan vanilla in our cakes, and we haven't got any macarons left, but if we did have any vanilla macarons left, you could actually see the specks of the vanilla pod seeds in there. So yeah, we scrape out the vanilla seeds and put those in there fresh. And
I'm always intrigued. Remind me the difference between a macaroon and a macaron.
Okay, so yeah, it's quite a common thing. A macaroon has coconut in.
Oh, that's one of the rice paper at the bottom, as a kind of cake by itself.
Yeah, it's a coconut-based sweet treat, whereas the macaron, as you'll see on the Great British Bake Off, is baked with almond flour. So it's they're smaller, but they've got that soft, crunchy outside, nice sort of chew to them. Yeah, if you're anything like me, they've gone in minutes.
And so you were watching that programme, were you, and picking up tips, or you were shouting at the TV? No, not that way.
Well, we sort of made we met some of the guys actually at the Cake and Bake Show. They're really nice guys, swapped some recipes and things, and yeah, they're really nice guys. So we've got a lot of time for the show. Did
they do a taste test with your products? Or?
No, we didn't have any of our products with us, but I'd be more than happy to send them out and get them tasted.
So whereabouts are you based?
We're based in the Midlands, so we're based in Warwick.
Okay, so do people have to come to you, or do you ship out?
We're just in the process of getting the online ordering, but you can order directly from us, and we can send macaroons out in the post, and they're very post safe. They'll last for 6 months in the freezer. Really versatile product.
So how do people find you? Web address?
On our web address, it's www.adoris.co.uk. That's ADORIS. Or you can find us on Twitter or Facebook, or Google search Adoris.
Martin from Adoro Streets. So, as promised, let me give you the full contact details of everyone that we've heard from in this special edition of the G3 radio show. We heard from Lucy from Podology. You can find her on Twitter at Podology, P-U-D-O-L-O-G-Y, or on the internet at podology.com. Also, we heard from Catherine from the company called Sweet Cheeks. I haven't been able to find a Twitter address for Catherine, but you can find her internet page on sweetcheekslimited.co.uk, sweetcheeksltd.co.uk. Carolyn is from the Free from Bakehouse. We heard from her a little bit earlier on. Now, be aware that her website address and her Twitter name are different from her actual company name. So, the company name is Free From Bakehouse, but she goes under the name of sugargrain.com on the internet and at sugargrain on Twitter. There was Sue from Emerald City Cupcakes, and they are emeraldcitycupcakes.co.uk, and on Twitter they're Emerald City Cup C. We heard from Steve from Conscious Chocolate. On Twitter they are Conscious Choc, and consciouschocolate.co.uk on the internet, and finally adoris.co.uk, adoris.co.uk, and at Adoris Treats on Twitter. And for full disclosure, I did have some of those products, but only for tasting and only after I'd conducted those interviews. Nothing was given to me in advance of those interviews to persuade me to talk to those different companies. Just as I say, for full disclosure, so you know exactly why I'm speaking to various different companies on the G3 radio show, because I personally like their stuff, or I like the stand, or I like the people who I'm about to speak with. There has been no other inducement prior to those interviews.
This is G3 Radio.
And that was episode 33 of the G3 radio show, the first of several special editions over the festive fortnight as we get into 2014. Next week on the programme, we've got a special documentary that we made after visiting a gluten-free supper club in London a few months ago. Then the week after that, we're going to be speaking to an Olympic medal-winning athlete who's gluten-free and about how his diet affects his training schedule. And then, after that, well, you better keep listening to G3 Radio. And have a fantastic Christmas and a brilliant start to 2014, won't you?
Ho, 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 ho.
Follow us on Twitter. We're at G3 Radio.
Ho, 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 ho. Merry Christmas, everyone.